Hello, welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, continuing our Warhammer the Old World, Bretonnia faction focus content. Today, taking a look at the core troops of Bretonnia. So, let's see what we've got. First up is the Men at Arms. Average stats, they've got low weapon skill, low ballistic skill, and pretty crappy leadership. Regular infantry, they come on 25 by 25mm bases, and they got a unit size of 10. Equipment-wise, hand weapon, pole arms, which are single-handed, strength as user, AP nothing, fight in an extra rank though, but they can go double-handed, which gives them a +1 strength, AP -1, but that does require two hands, cannot make supporting attacks in a turn in which the unit is itself charged. They also come with light armor and shields, giving them a 5+ armor save. Full command groups. They can take a Grail Monk, which is a command group model that follows the rules for champions. And the Grail Monk itself can gain the Blessed Triptych. The model and the unit gain the Stubborn rule, which helps give them a bit more staying power. So, Men at Arms then. Special rules: Close Order, Horde, so they can increase their rank bonus. It can claim by 1. Levies cannot use the General's Inspiring Presence or the Battle Standard, so Battle Standard's not going to help them. Peasantry, so if a unit within 6 inches of a friendly model has a Knight's Vow, Quest Vow, Grail Vow, so they can use nearby leadership units, leadership, so that can be quite good. Knights of the Realm on foot, for example, might be close by. And if they are carrying a standard, if it's captured as a trophy of war, it doesn't count. They do have Shield Wall, so once per game during a turn in which it was charged, a unit with a special rule that's in close formation and using shields can choose to give ground instead of falling back in good order. And then they also have Warband, which is a plus modifier to leadership based on rank bonus, but cannot use this for restraint test. May reroll charge. So, fairly weak core infantry unit with low weapon skill and a max armor save of 5+, leadership of 6. Means the unit needs lots of help if it is to perform. Special rules for the unit mean that it needs to be large in size to help with the leadership and durability, as well as being supported by characters or nearby knights. So if the unit is large enough, which is possible due to it's got a low points per model cost, it can make a decent anvil unit with shield wall and that ability to increase its rank bonus and all that sort of thing, and also the peasantry rule, right? So other leadership, but it's going to need support reasonably quickly. Unless you're against similar low-quality infantry. They're not going to last long after that first turn of combat. They've used the shield wall, which is a once-per-game thing. After that, how long are these things going to be? They're a bit, they're definitely a chaff-type unit, So I sometimes consider taking unit of Men-at-Arms. However, though, in the core category, you need to take 1+ unit of peasants or men at arms, right? So you could take peasant bowmen and then fill it rest out with knights, which are really good, and you can put the knights on foot or on horses. So there is value in taking a large block of infantry, but that large block of infantry is going to be easy to hit with template weapons, spells, war machines, missile infantry with the low armor save. So yeah, that's just something to consider. There is value there, but not something that would be my default go-to in the core category. Peasant Bowman. So, stats. Average stats, low weapon skill, regular infantry, 25 by 25 base size, unit size 10+, right? They come with a hand weapon and a longbow. Longbows are good. Light armor as an option. Full command group. Now, they can take defensive stakes. So, if the unit moves or reforms, these are lost. The enemy units charging this unit from the front make a disordered charge and become disrupted. cavalry and chariots must make a dangerous terrain test. That can be quite nice, but is going to massively depend upon the terrain layout, right? Because on the terrain layout, it's going to determine if you're going to have exposed flanks or that sort of thing. Because if you're going to move or reform, you're going to lose the stakes. So, are you going to be able to channel the enemy to try and force them to attack you from the front? Maybe, maybe not. They can also take burning braziers, so the longbows gain flaming attacks. That can be a bit situational as well. And may replace close order with skirmishers, but cannot take burning braziers or defensive stakes. Okay, peasant bowman special rules. Close order, the levies we saw before, and peasantry. So nothing special for these guys. To be honest, though, I do prefer peasant bowmen to men-at-arms, right? They're 1 point per model more. They've got +1 ballistic skill and +2 leadership, which is interesting. And the longbow comes with a 30-inch range. It comes with Armor Bane 1 and the volley fire, meaning you can get more shots out. So it's really only lacking in the AP, right? It's got no AP as standard, but you do get that Armor Bane 1. And you get more shots, more chance to get the Armor Bane 1. Personally, I prefer to keep the unit cheap and take more bodies. So rarely would I bother opting for the light armor. I just don't see that the extra 6+ armor save is worth it. Defensive stakes is nice and not too expensive, but it's going to massively impact mobility. And as I said before, it's going to be map and terrain dependent. So if taking multiple units, I might consider having a unit become skirmishers. It's a free ability. It doesn't affect an army list when changing. So you could decide to take one unit in a block, one unit as skirmishers. That might have some value. So yeah, peasant bowmen, I like them as my peasant choice. I would much prefer to take these guys over the men-at-arms. Next up is Knights Errant, the first of our knightly units in core. Average stats, low ballistic skill, and initiative, which is not great for a cavalry unit. Troop type's heavy cavalry, 30x60 base, and its unit size of 5+. So they come with their hand weapons, lances. They come with heavy armor, shields, iron shod hooves, and barding, which gives them a 3+ armor save. They can have a full command group and take a magic standard up to 25 points. So what do they get? They've got a few rules here. So they've got Blessings of the Lady, so they can get their 6+, 5+ ward save. They come with the Knight's Vow. They have First Charge, which is great. Swift Stride, Finest War Horses, so that all that good stuff. Close Order, Lance Formation. They don't have Counter Charge, which kind of sucks. So Lance wielding unit on Bretonnian war horses that don't get counter charge, but instead they get impetuous. So if they can declare a charge roll on a D6 1 to 3, they must charge. On a 4+, they may act as normal. So you even potentially lose control of them. Yeah, Knights Errant are only 5 points per model cheaper than a Knight of the Realm, but they lose a weapon skill and a leadership, as well as not having counter charge, and they get impetuous instead. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Knights Errant. Overall, I much prefer to spend my points in Knights of the Realm. Losing counter charge, and more importantly, potentially losing control of movement, means you have to be super careful with positioning. Make Knights Errant kind of a deal breaker for me. I'm really not a fan. Like if they kept to the counter charge, then maybe the impetuous would be less of an issue. But in reality, I think that the unit needs to be cheaper to be considered. Is my initial thoughts on this. Magic standard, errantry banner, right? They get +1 strength on the charge. So if you are forced to charge, you're going to get that +1 strength. And the unit gains impetuous. Well, we don't really care because we've already got impetuous. So if you're going to give errantry banner to someone, Knights Errant. The impetuous you don't care about. But they do get that +1 strength on the charge. So maybe that's something to consider. Right, Knights of the Realm on foot, a brand new unit. This is a new set of miniatures as well for the Bretonnians. Looks really cool. I love the look of these miniatures. Really nice job on that. So good weapon skill and leadership, low ballistic skill and initiative. They are heavy infantry, 25 by 25 bases, and they have a unit size of 5+. They come with a hand weapon, a heavy armor, and shields. So they're on a 4+ armor save. Great weapons is an option. They may take a full command group. First Knight may take 25 points of magic items and may take a magic standard up to 25 points. So, come with Blessings of the Lady, they come with the Knight's Vow, Close Order, and they have Furious Charge, which was one that I wasn't expecting when I first saw the rules. So, they get +1 attack if a charge is more than 3 inches. That's really nice. That's really nice. Knights of the Realm Mounted don't get that. So, this is really cool. You know, add that to the Blessings of the Lady, 4+ save, 6+ ward save, 5+ ward save if it's strength 5 or higher. So Knights of the Realm on foot, though, are nearly triple the points cost of a man-at-arms. They do gain +2 weapon skill and +3 leadership, coupled with an armor save of 4+ instead of 5+, and a ward save, and the Furious Charge for the extra attack, as well as the ability to take a magic standard. So as an anvil unit, even though they don't have things like the shield wall and stuff like that the men-at-arms have, I would prefer taking a unit of Knights of the Realm over the men-at-arms, support them with a unit of peasant bowmen, and most of the time I'm not going to be looking to take great weapons. Because in this edition and the way that combat works, with initiative and attacks back and everything else, strikes last is not my favourite. And I wouldn't normally take a magic item for the champion either. Try and keep that cheap. I prefer bodies, by and large, to beefing up champions. If I'm going to spend points on magic items, it's going to go on proper characters. Now, magic standards. Razor Standard, Armor Bane 2 could be really quite nice for this unit. You know, that's one of the things. If you look at where they're going to need support, it's going to be in strength and it's going to be in AP. So Razor Standard could really help with that Armor Bane 2. The extra attack you get on the charge means you're going to be rolling more attacks. The chance of getting your Armor Bane is going to go up. So next up then is mounted Knights of the Realm. So taking the guys from before, putting them on a horse. So good weapons, good leadership, all the same. They're heavy cavalry now. They're 30mm by 60mm base. So they get their hand weapon, the heavy armor, shield, lance, ironshod hooves, and barding, giving them a 3+ armor save. They can take a full command group, and the same magic standard to 25 points, and the first knight could take 25 points of magic items. So they get their Blessings of the Lady, the Knightly Vow. They get counter charge, right, which is great, and that's what the Knights Errant don't get. They get first charge, they get swift stride, finest war horses, close order, and lance formation. So all the stuff you'd expect from a Bretonnian knight unit, especially given the Bretonnian war horse that we covered in the previous video. So mounted knights of the realm as a core choice are pretty much the equal as most heavy cavalry found in other factions, special and rare categories. So, you know, when you look at knights in the Empire, or you look at knights in other factions and their heavy cavalry, Knights of the Realm are almost on par with those guys. Right, it's a tough unit. They've got 3+ armor save. They've got the ward save on top of that. They've got good leadership. That's an excellent unit to make up your core points tax, and in fact a good reason to go beyond potentially those core points minimums. The weakest point is damage output, with only 1 attack, so that's where they're lacking. They don't get that Furious Charge, which is interesting, that on foot they get Furious Charge, on a horse they don't. So as with most heavy cavalry, they work best either charging weak or low model count units or tough units from the flank or rear. And that's typical for most cavalry, right? So you either got to break them on that initial charge, or you're supplementing a massive additional damage from a unit that's already engaged. Magic standard, Banner of Shalons is really quite nice. Enemy units cannot declare stand or shoot when charged. Pretty good. So if you're going after those missile units, that can be really, really nice. And there we go. As a faction, Bretonnia doesn't have the list of or the variety and number of units that some of the other factions do, but they do have some good ones. And as I say, I think the faction overall is top tier. So check out the tier video if you want to see where I put them. But that brings us to the end of the core category. We've got a special category coming up next. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Let me know why in the comments down below. As always, if you want to see more content, hit the subscribe button. It's totally free, but it's a massive deal, so thanks for that in advance. You've been watching The Ghost Owl. Tune back in as we continue our Bretonnian faction focus.